there's something called a lag in life. Meaning what you do today, you really won't really see the results 3 to 6 months from now. And I think sometimes you do something and you don't see the result right away, therefore it must not be working.
He currently works in finance, leading a team of people who create financial freedom for families. Prior to working in finance, he retired from playing hockey and found himself working in oil and gas. At the time, he was unhappy, felt a lack of freedom, and had no job security with a bad work culture. He said that this all changed, however, when he met someone one day who presented him with an opportunity. So this is going to be exciting to hear what that opportunity was, so please help me welcome Guy.
Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Likewise.
So I think we're just gonna hook you up with a mic real quick here. So we're just gonna record the whole thing. So I'll just, I'm gonna tell a story a little bit about me and Guy's relationship, but it's again really awesome to have you here, Guy, and I'm excited for you to tell your story today.
Yeah. Well, hey, is this on?
I think, yeah, just hit the button up. There we go.
Hello? What?
Oh, there we go.
There it is. I just want to say, awesome job. I love the way you speak, your speaking style. You're authentic. You're vulnerable. You're funny. And you can tell you put a lot of hours and passion, and this is definitely passion. So it was just nice to see you in your element. And I'm so glad I came to this, and I'm so glad and grateful for you to put an event like this. So thank you for having me, first of all.
Yeah, that's great. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And me and Guy, I think we met in 2016 maybe? Around there, yeah.
We also met at the bar, yes.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say the bar.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day, yeah.
Specials.
Yeah, the specials got us. So I think it was right outside of the bar. We had like just a quick like chance encounter. Again, it was like, hey, we should exchange numbers, maybe meet up sometime. And what happened after that was like typical. Like you never meet that person. But over the years,
you never called me back.
Sorry, man. Yeah. I was busy, I swear. But over the years, we were following each other on social media, and I think it's maybe about 5 or 6 months ago, you just sent me a message, say, hey, I'd like to have a phone call with you, and we had the quick phone call, and right away I could tell like this guy is extremely positive, very passionate. And just an amazing person to be around. And so I learned a little bit more about his story today, and really just, again, excited to have him. I think we're going to learn a lot from him. And why don't we just go right into what a day currently looks like, or what you're currently up to?
What I'm currently up to is, I'm in the frontline leadership development.
Yep.
I think that's first and foremost learning to lead myself and learning to lead others. And I think a byproduct of that is, yes, I work in finance, but if you ask me what I do, I wouldn't tell you I'm in finance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
The idea of working with finance to me was a foreign concept about 5-6 years ago. But the idea of helping people and the idea of helping people get to where they want to go, that's something that's always been of interest, right? Yeah. I originally looked into forensic psychology, and then I realized I had to go to school for like 12 years.
Yeah.
But I like the human brain and the ability to help people get to where they want to go. And what I do is, yes, I work for a financial brokerage, and what we're here to do is teach Canadian families on really how money works in this country, in an economy, in a state of where money, people don't necessarily have the best relationship with money, and it's not. I'd like to say there's a lack of knowledge and a lack of education around it, and sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And what we do is we're able to really just go and provide that education and that value, so people can go make better decisions, which in turn leads to better results, right? And that better results as with anything, right? Diet, working out. And what we do is we facilitate the process of doing that, and it's extremely humbling. But my passion isn't in the finance, the X's and O's, saving on taxes. It's really the impact that we get to go and do, and freeing up $1,000 for the average family in this economy, for example. That's a pretty special feeling.
For sure.
And, being in sales, there are some rejection, there are some things that you have to overcome. But the thank you and the impact at the end of the day is really
makes it worth it.
Really brought purpose into into my life, and I love what I do from that standpoint for sure.
Okay, right on. So why don't you just take us back? I know you mentioned 5 years ago, I think it was, that you kind of made that pivotal decision, pivotal choice. So why don't you take us back to what that landscape looked like before you made that choice to switch gears, and how the choice kind of came about?
Well, to be completely honest with you, my dream growing up was to play in the NHL. I wanted to be a hockey player, and I played hockey my whole life. But the mindset was always, my dad was like, hey, if you work hard at hockey, you might be able to pay for your education. That was the mindset. It was never, if you work hard, you'll play in the NHL.
So the education was the goal?
The education was the goal. It was more my dad's goal, right, for me, which...
get a scholarship.
It is what it is. And I ended up playing high-level hockey. I was a competitive guy. And somewhere along the roads, I made a few bad off-ice decisions that, took me kind of my opportunity away from me. And then I decided, hey, you know what? I realized I wasn't going to make it. And I just wanted to start working. So I got into the oil and gas, right, in Alberta. It seemed like a good opportunity at the time, right, early 20. And then, just worked long hours, long days. I worked as a pipe fitter. I also worked as a land surveyor. Yeah. This was just an opportunity for me without an education to go and make a significant amount of money, or at least what I thought was a significant amount of money. But it was long days in the middle of nowhere, Alberta. I know Budsy worked on the rigs, so I know you have some experience with that. Yeah. The minus 40, minus 50. I never worked at minus 50, but maybe I'm soft for saying minus 30 kind of sucked. But it really did. And for me, it was just that long-term security, and then just really going and interviewing my future. And by that I mean like going and looking at the people I've been doing your industry for a long extended period of time, and if you like what you see, then you're in the right place. And for me, I always knew it was a means to an end. I never really knew what I wanted to do life after hockey. But the idea of being in business and having my own business and controlling my time was something that was really apparent to me.
And having that freedom too.
Having the freedom, right? Yeah. Be the man and being decisions. And that's something I always wanted. I just didn't know if it was possible,
right?
Without starting a business. And I didn't have the money to start a business, nor did I know what business to start.
So at the time, you're in an environment that's just not good, it's not conducive. You feel a lack of freedom. Was there some person that came in that made you believe it was possible to change, or believe it's possible to live your dream?
Well, you know what? It's funny because after 4 or 5 years in the oil and gas industry, I decided, had some exposure. I decided, you know what? I don't see myself doing this long term. And I remember getting laid off just before Christmas.
Oh, man.
I remember thinking, you know what? There's no way I'm going to continuously do this every single year. And about 4.5 years ago is when I stopped working, and I put it out there that, you know what, I'm going to go and change my life, and I'm going to go and get into a better environment. And it's amazing what you put out to the universe, and what you ask the universe comes back to you. Mm-hmm. And I decided I'm going to go back to school. So I actually entered into the SAIT program, business administration, wanted to get into the door, because I tried to go get 3 different sales jobs, 3 different firms, and they all said, hey, go get the piece of paper, essentially. Yeah. And so I got into the schooling system, and then I went to a house party. This is really where this happened. I went to a house party about my second year into the schooling, and at this point I'm like, yes, I'm a good student. I was there with a purpose. And I went to my neighbors. We just moved into a neighborhood. Went to my neighbor's house, and I ran into my now senior partner at the time, and we were just having a conversation about life, and he's like, hey, she was actually his wife, my husband and I run a financial marketing brokerage here in Calgary, an agency here in Calgary, and I was like, I want in. That's awesome. Right? And we just had an authentic conversation. And she followed up with me the next day. I sat down, and there was an opportunity for me to go and expand towards this agency, and that was really the opportunity that I was looking for.
Did you find like part of your decision to go and make that change was also because of you liked who those people were and like what they represented?
I felt a sense of mentorship, but to be completely honest with you, I just saw an opportunity to go make a lot of money, and I thought I was after the money. Yeah, I really did, and I looked at people in that industry, millionaires, right? For me, that's a lot. That was a lot of money. I still think millionaires is a lot of money. Yeah. But I just saw an opportunity and a need But I got into it originally for very selfish reasons. I'll be quite upfront and honest, but then I kind of looked back and spiraled back. Well, the reason why I wanted to play in the NHL and be a hockey player wasn't so I can be a millionaire. It was never about the money. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, you just go out and you have passions and you live out your dreams, and you just play the game because you love the game.
Yeah. And
that's why I wanted to be a professional hockey player. It was the significance of it and the purpose that it gave me, and to be recognized amongst your peers. And so my first year, I really went through that challenge of identifying, well, what am I really doing? What do I really want?
Yeah.
And then I really found a calling and purpose in what I do. And you take the money out of it. I'm a firm believer that the money is a byproduct of the person you become along the way.
Right.
And so I kind of took a distance away from the money and took a deep dive and started, instead of just logically thinking about the business, I kind of took it to my heart and really bringing the purpose and what I'm really doing and empowering families and helping them out and what that means. And I think that's really changed everything. So I think I elaborate a little bit more.
No, it's fine. This is good stuff. Yeah,
but
it's really good. So, what were some early barriers when you made that transition?
I think the early challenges is for me. I was always kind of the employee, and then going into the business environment. So basically, my company, I can be self-employed with an opportunity to go and build my own agency. So I am commission based, so I have set times, but control over my time means like I set my own time and my own hours. So I had to learn to really treat myself like an employee, so to speak, right? Because I'm my own boss, so all of a sudden it's like, well, I can take Monday afternoon off.
You can relax.
And but the real lesson that I think I've learned over the last few years really is there's something called a lag in life. Meaning, what you do today, you really won't really see the results 3 to 6 months from now. And I think sometimes you do something and you don't see the result right away, therefore it must not be working, right? The best example I can give you is like someone that goes to the gym, right? Most people, they'll go to the gym and then their first month they're just sore, they see 0 results.
Yeah.
Then they keep going, they really don't see the results. And most people, even though they're doing the right activity that's going to get them to the shape, get them that body they want for whatever reasons they're working out, they don't get to that result, and then they quit.
Yeah.
And so I kind of battled through that. And it's not like I quit the business, I just quit like mentally showing up and being the best version of me. And sometimes when you're always focused on the result, you don't focus on the process enough
of becoming someone someone
and
different.
It's always, for me, it's always like, I used to think, well, when I make this amount of money, then I'll be happy.
For sure.
When I have this, then I'll be that.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that I've really learned to embrace entrepreneurship as a journey and not a destination. I don't think there's ever going to be a destination. I just think entrepreneurship is an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
And understanding that you need to be and create the person that you want to be today, in turn, the universe will bring it back to you. So if you want to be happy, materialistic things and no dollar amount is going to bring you that happiness. So it's something that you got to go and create and find for yourself today and reenact that person you want to be and really create your life, and essentially. And all this stuff you talk about, I mean, it's just that gets my hot buttons going, because that's the type of work environment that I work in. I mean, the personal development, I mean, that's, if there really is a secret to life, it's working on yourself and personally developing.
For sure.
I truly think you don't say it's a secret, but I think that's the secret ingredient in leadership, first and foremost. If you can't learn to lead yourself, how can you expect to lead others?
Yeah.
And
Awesome. No, it's good. You're giving us good stuff.
I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And my biggest fear 5 years ago was public speaking, and now I get
You're
to do
doing
it
great.
every
You're
week,
relaxed.
and I love it.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of getting out of your shell.
And that's something that they help facilitate, in the work environment, right? Like they push people to do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
I mean, I think growth and confidence come from doing uncomfortable things on a day-to-day basis. I think your ability to scale a business is your ability to go and get uncomfortable on a daily basis. And the more you do it, the more you grow. It's no different. I mean, we are created. We're habits that are we're creatures of habit that are created to seek comfort and avoid pain, right? So to do something, we like to live in our comfort zone, but everything that you want in this life is on the other side of that comfort zone. So the more often you can get comfortable with the idea of getting outside of your comfort zone, I just think that's where the growth happens.
What was something that you found was uncomfortable early on?
Well, I think just sometimes just calling someone. Right,
Yeah, like
making
a
a phone call.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you've been in sale. You
I
hung
know,
up. I mean,
yeah.
I just laughed because I was like,
It's so relatable, right? You like look
so
at the phone and
relatable.
you're like,
And
"Oh,
then kind of getting stuck in that environment of,
Yeah.
oh, well, he said no, so therefore I must be a terrible person.
You take it
He doesn't
personally.
like me.
Yeah.
Exactly. So learning to really disconnect yourself, and then really start to appreciate that, and then once I started, kind of seeing some results, and I freed up $1,800 for a family. They were drowning in debt.
Yeah.
They made decent income, but they were just drowning in debt, no hope. And we were able to sit down with them. We kind of looked at a holistic plan, and we just moved a few things around. They were on pace to go pay off their house, and now half the time we freed them up a ton of debt they didn't know that was even possible. And they went from saving like no money to saving like $1,000 a month.
That's awesome.
And the thank you that came from just kind of took away all that and really instilled some belief in what I'm doing and what our organization is doing, and kind of got lost in the question there. But,
yeah, well, we're kind of getting close-ish to the end. So, do you have like a couple takeaways for the people here today? Like some things that they can glean from your own life experience, some habits.
I think the biggest life lesson I've learned was I played high-level hockey. I played in the Western Hockey League, but when I was 15, 16 years old, I played midget AAA, and I scored the most goals. And all of a sudden, I just stopped doing the things that got me successful. I started being really focused on, okay, well, I've got it made. That was kind of the mindset I had. And then my head just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I stopped being coachable. And I stopped doing the little things that got me my success in the first place. Well, I started talking to NHL teams, started talking to all these colleges, so I got it made. Yeah. And then, really for 4 years of junior, I just kind of became that victim and started making some bad off-ice decisions because, I forgot what really got me there. Right. So the biggest takeaway that I can have, and this is, how you do one thing is how you do everything, but for life in general, is just stay humble. And don't forget where you came from, who you are, and I don't think any amount of money should change that, or success. And the gratitude thing I think is huge, right? You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time.
Yeah, like that. That's awesome.
Thanks, Sarah. That's something she says a lot, but at the same time, it's so true. And that's my biggest takeaway is yes, be coachable and be humble enough to know that, seek help, seek mentorship. I think coachability and seeking out is there's no self-made millionaire. There's always going to be a team. And stay true to your roots. That's my number one advice for me and for anybody that I would say going into life in general, let alone business.
Yeah, and I think you made a lot of good points, especially being humble and being coachable. People are going to want to help you. When they see someone who's inspired, someone who's positive, someone who's on their purpose, they want to actually, reach in and pull you up. They want to help you. They want to, give you the tools for success. So I guess, do you have anything? Yeah?
No, I mean, that about sums it up. I think if you want to go at it on your own, you're going to fall flat on your face. And sometimes 100%. You need to fall flat on your face, and then you're open to feedback, and that's just, but the more open-minded you can be and the more coachable you can be, just the easier, less time-consuming it'll be. But eventually everybody succumbs to it, whether they want to be successful, right? You have to go and humble yourself in some way, shape, or form.